Hello, Disney fans. I know it has been forever since the last time I talked about Once Upon a Time. I've had other projects I wanted to work on, and honestly, knowing just how much I have to do yet to get to the final episodes, just how long this whole project is going to be, kind of felt overwhelming. So I got away from it for a while, but my goal is to get back into this and to at least come up with one Once Upon a Time video every other month until I'm finally done with it. Don't get me wrong, I still love the show, and I still love making videos about it. But I have to think about each individual video review I'm doing instead of looking at it as a whole. And I want to get back to having fun with that. We left off with season 3, and just to catch up, I have to do like they do on the show and say previously on Once Upon a Time.
Who are you? Pete's Pine. This Tinkerbell is not going to save us. You know where Pan is. Sure.
The arrow barely hit me. How long? Days, weeks at most.
I don't belong here. You were created for a reason.
So basically, at this point, Henry's been kidnapped by Peter Pan. We don't know yet why Peter Pan wants Henry, but we know it's not for anything good. Henry's family all went to Neverland to try to rescue him. David has been injured by an arrow that was coated in Dreamshade, which is deadly poison. So he is slowly dying at this point. So that's where we are in season 3. Now, I should say if you are just watching this video and you haven't watched the other reviews I've done of Once, or if you haven't watched the series up to this point for yourself, you're going to be confused because I know I joined the series when I was in season 4, or when the series was in season 4 rather, and I was completely out of it. Like, what are they talking about? So, if you aren't familiar with the series up to this point, I don't really advise continuing to watch this video. I'll do my best to explain in case you do want to watch it that way, but fair warning. Now, also at this point, everyone thinks that Rumpelstiltskin's son Bay, who is Henry's father, is dead. He's not, but the others don't know it at this point. Rumpel is having visions of Belle, courtesy of Pan messing with him, and he's torn because he has an instinct for self-preservation, and he would love to go back to Storybrooke and be with her, but he also wants to save his grandson. And he's torn because he believes that saving Henry will mean that he will die and never see Belle again, never have any kind of life again, obviously, because of a prophecy that was made years ago. And Rumpel, bottom line, will never, ever let his family down. But he's wrestling with the decision at this point.
Eventually you'd leave me because you can see me for what I really am. You think you see a good man, but in time, you'd see the monster. My son is dead. The only way I can redeem myself is by saving his son and giving my life.
Unbeknownst to the others, Bay has made his own way to the island, and as I said, he's still very much alive. And when Rumpel and Bay come across each other, Rumpel thinks he's just another hallucination at first. And he actually reveals that no matter what, he tells him, "You can't keep me from sacrificing myself for Henry. I will do what it takes to save him," because he thinks this is Pan playing a trick on him at this point. Well, once he finds out this really is Bay, Bay actually is alive, the two of them, of course, start working together. And he lets Bay know he is very serious about that he will give his life to save Henry.
So I take it you have a plan? The whole sacrifice your life thing was just you being dramatic.
That's the only way. Pan is too powerful. You can only beat him if you're willing to die. Which I
I'm going to be talking about Rumpel a lot during this season because, well, I talk about him a lot anyway, I know, because obviously he's my favorite character. But his story is the one that's most important during this season. We learn a lot about his past. And a lot about him as a character, too, really. Even though we've seen that before, we really get that reinforced during this season. Well, meanwhile, the others find where Bay hid out when he was on Neverland as a kid. Because he made it off. And they need to know how he did that. Remember, he sacrificed himself going to Neverland to save the Darling family. And he ended up there after Captain Hook basically ditched him there. So they come across where Bay used to live and they find a star map that he created that will help them get off Neverland once they get Henry.
Snuff out that torch. Am I supposed to be impressed that he made a nightlight? Look up.
Slight problem. The star map won't help them because it's in code. The only person who could read it is Bay. And they all still believe him to be dead at this point. Rumpel, who is broken off in the group, is the only one who knows Bay is alive. Well, Rumpel and Bay find Henry, only Pan, who of course can't resist driving a wedge between them, reveals Rumpel's big secret.
You haven't told him.
Told me what?
Why, about the prophecy, of course.
What prophecy? What do you mean?
The prophecy that says you've been tricked. Your father isn't here to rescue your son. He's here to murder him.
The prophecy, of course, doesn't say that Rumpel will murder Henry. The prophecy says that Henry will be Rumpel's undoing, which could have a lot of interpretations, really, and I've enjoyed using that in different fan fictions. But Rumpel naturally thinks that means that saving Henry will result in his death. And Bay does not take this news well.
After what you just told me, I'm supposed to believe you? I won't lie to you, May. Self-preservation has been a nasty habit I've had my whole life, but I came here to break it, to do the right thing, and to save your son, even if that meant sacrificing my own life. You have to trust me. How can I?
Rumpel hasn't always found it easy to be completely honest with Bay. And that's not just, hiding things that he's doing wrong and doesn't want Bay to know about. It's not like that. But there's a lot of things in his past that are hard to discuss. He did not have a good childhood. And we see in a flashback him start to open up about just what happened with Peter Pan.
His name is Peter Pan. I've known him since I was a boy. Growing up, we were incredibly close.
So you're saying he's immortal too?
He wasn't always. He went to a place called Neverland. He betrayed me, Bay. He can't be trusted.
Bay makes the huge mistake of not trusting his dad. Of course, Rumpel would never hurt Henry. He has already made the decision that, if necessary, he's going to die in Henry's place. Bay doesn't believe that. And of course, that's exactly what Pan wanted when he told him.
You were so close to finding him. You disappointed me. I thought I taught you better. Never break in somewhere unless you know the way out.
I'll remember that for next time.
Well, there isn't going to be a next time. But don't blame yourself. Your father could have protected you out here, sure. But then who would have protected Henry from him?
Now both Henry and Bay are captured by Pan. And of course, everybody else believes that Bay is dead. Except for Rumple, who is going to be looking for them, obviously. Well, without Bay, nobody can read the star map he created. But Hook finds something that hopefully will lead them to the answers.
No, it's too dangerous.
What's too dangerous? If you know something that can help us, don't hold back. This insignia survived all these years, and perhaps my brother Satchel did as well. And inside that satchel is a sextant that can help us decode Neil's star map that can get us off this island.
Meanwhile, the others are getting afraid that Henry's going to just plain give up. So they need to get a message to him that they're there. Regina does not care about what methods they use to get that message to him. And this is one of the early times when we see Emma and Regina actually working completely together. This is a harsh decision, but at this point, they're both agreed they're going to do whatever it takes.
Why? So I can rip his heart out. And he'll do exactly what we want.
This is not how we do things. Emma, we can find another way to get to Henry.
Really? And what do you think, Emma?
I think we need to talk to our son. We can't do this. That is brutal.
She can't.
Emma, do it, Regina.
While Regina and Emma are willing to go to any means necessary to save Henry, Hook is actually tricking David so that David will be saved. He wants to get him to where he can find hope of surviving the dream state. And we find out that finding Hook's brother Satchel was all part of the plot.
My brother didn't lose his satchel up here. I made that up. What about the insignia? I dropped it on the path so you'd find it. Why? Because I knew you'd never make the journey here if I told you the truth. The truth? The truth you brought me here to die? I brought you here to save your life. You're a liar.
This is kind of the start of where we see Hook and David bonding. We see them getting a little closer as the series progresses. And basically, one of the main things about this season is this is the season that changes all the relationships. We see Emma and Regina becoming close. We see Hook and David becoming close. We see romances forming, and there's going to be a lot of mixed opinions about Emma's romance with Hook. I am a tried and true Rumple fan, and by extension, I can't help caring about his family. So that's going to be a big part in this season too, is Hook and Bay both competing for Emma. But more on that later on. The plan to use the heart to get the message to Henry is in fact successful. And one detail that helps Henry realize that they are really there, that this isn't some illusion, is them referring to this as Operation Cobra Rescue.
Henry, are you okay? Henry, can you hear me? Mom? I'm here too, Henry. Oh, this is a trick. No, it's not a trick, Henry. I promise you, this is real. Kid, it's Operation Cobra Rescue. It's us. You're here?
Meanwhile, Pan is still up to his mind games. He wants Hook working for him, not helping the others. Well, there's one surefire way he's noticed to do that. Emma and Hook have been growing closer, but what would happen if Emma knew that Bay was alive? He gives that moral dilemma to Hook to wrestle with.
Neil, whatever name he goes by these days. The guy Emma loves, Henry's father.
What of him? He's dead.
No, I'm afraid not. He's alive. That's not even the best part. He's in Neverland.
And Hook isn't the only one that Pan wants to play mind games with. Rumple is his favorite target here. You can tell emotionally and mentally he messes with Rumple worse than anyone else. There's reasons behind that, and it's not just because Rumple is the biggest threat to his success. There's a big history there that has not yet been revealed. And he chooses a particularly hurtful way to get to Rumple.
I think so.
Look, even if you did save them, which you won't, what would be the point? They'll never forgive you for all the horrible things you've done.
You don't know that.
Have you forgiven your father?
To twist the knife even further, Pan uses his shadow to torment Rumple with visions of Belle telling him to come home to Storybrooke. Rumple knows these are only visions, of course, but he's so torn between wanting to survive and go home to her and wanting to save Henry. He really believes he can't do both. And Regina finally has to snap him out of it before the shadow completely overwhelms him.
Care because I've been camping with the Charmings for a week and getting nowhere. If we're gonna get Henry, I need you. I need Rumple Stillskin.
Well, the problem, dearie, is that Rumpelstiltskin can only stop Pan by dying.
You're not gonna die at anyone's hands but my own.
The relationship between Regina and Rumple is always an intense one. There's times when you'd swear they were going to kill each other, and then there's times when they do seem protective of each other, like, oh, you're not going to die at anyone's hands but my own. But she's doing this because she needs him, and yet, like I said, they keep going back and forth throughout this whole series over just, do they honestly care about each other on some little level, or are they going to murder each other? It is intense. Well, the others had to face their own intense challenge after Hook does admit that Bay is alive. He and Charming have returned from their little trip, and he was able to get the cure to save David/Charming from the Dream Shade. The problem with that is that connects David to Neverland. He can't leave. If he does, he's going to die. Now, when they go searching for Bay and they finally find him, he's separated from them, and the only way to get across a wide gap to him is for everybody to admit their secrets. Charming tells Snow how he can never leave Neverland. Snow says she wants another baby. Hook admits he kissed Emma. Well, when Emma's turn comes, I cannot believe the secret she tells to get Bay out of the cage.
But my secret is that I was hoping that this was a trick. I was hoping you were dead.
Since this channel is used to review Disney and Disney movies and everything connected to Disney, I try to avoid bad language because even though this channel isn't specifically aimed for kids, I never know when a kid might be watching. But this is one time I'm going to break that rule. Fuck you, Emma. Seriously. Bay has a father and a son who both love him, and you're selfish enough to wish he was dead because, oh, he hurt you once and you don't want to have to choose between him and Hook, grow the hell up. Really. You're supposed to be the savior and the hero? No. Emma, you are nothing in this. Seriously. And for you to wish someone else was dead, someone that your own son loves, no. No. That is not anywhere near being a savior or being heroic. Screw you, really. That is the moment when I stopped caring about Emma at all. She can get flaming fireball thrown at her and go up in smoke for all I care after the way she treats Bay. That part, sorry to go on a rant, but there it is. That really angers me. Well, our episode, the last of these 3 episodes that I'm reviewing now, does end on a more or less hopeful note. So far, I've skipped over a lot of the episode called Ariel because I'm trying to focus on the main plot, and even only reviewing 3 episodes at a time, there's just so much to cover. But Regina and Ariel have a history. She's actually the one who took Ariel's voice after Ariel tried to help Snow. She wanted to make sure that Ariel could never tell Eric that she loved him, and that she was really a mermaid. Well, now Regina is able to use that history in order to get Ariel to cross realms to get what Rumpel needs. A tool that could help them to beat Pam.
Long time.
It's true, mermaids can travel across realms, but they can't be trusted.
This one can. We have history together.
Well, that would explain the distasteful look in her face.
And now she's going to help us.
Regina restores Ariel's voice and gives her a bracelet that will allow her to be either a human or a mermaid at will, depending on when she wears the bracelet. So Ariel agrees to go and get something from Rumpel's shop. And that's where we leave with this set of 3 episodes. Operation Cobra Rescue is still very much in effect, and we'll be rejoining that next time I do a once video, which will be the video after the next one. I've decided I'm going to do a once video every other Disney review, so that I don't fall too far behind on it, but I still get done with all the other reviews I want to do. Which, by the way, Operation Cobra Rescue, notice everything is Operation something or other in this series. And yeah, that's going to continue even after Henry's well after the point where he should probably be calling things Operation whatever. But it's a quirk of the show. I'm glad I finally got to finish this video. I really wanted to get this done before the month of April or so because it's Robert Carlo's birthday month. So happy birthday to him. Hope all of you will join me next time. And until then, remember the magic.